Can it be foamed?
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. Today, we're gonna have more fun with foam than you've ever seen in any other video. We're not only foaming incredible suds, but we'll also be foaming all clean. We'll be foaming rinseless wash. We'll be foaming iron remover and quick beads.
This sounds like a video right out of my brain, but in fact, it came from you. We respond to all the comments, we respond to the questions, and when you have video ideas, Ivan, what happens?
We try to make them happen.
This is a video idea that I'm very curious to know what's going to happen. Ivan, where do we start?
Well, we start by doing the wheels and foaming on some incredible suds.
And this is not just, let's just do it because we can. This actually will clean the car well.
This will clean the car well. There may be excessive product usage that happens here and there, but that is, the price you have to pay to have fun with foam.
And when it comes down to it, let's not forget detailing is supposed to be fun. So I'm gonna grab what, the IK foamer?
Yeah, go for the IK foamer. I've got the foam cannon. Let me get some water in there and some incredible suds, and I'll be right back. We have the foam cannon all hooked up, ready to go. You have all clean with just a touch of incredible suds.
So far, this looks like the way we normally do it.
Yeah.
This is fun with foam, right?
Fun with foam, yep.
A little excessive, as I sometimes am. Ivan, we put incredible suds on here and foam is fun, but I guess why would you even want all clean on the wheels and tires? Because sometimes people do just clean a car with Rinseless. Sometimes they do just clean a car with incredible suds. Why do all clean here first?
Well, this comes to us from the Baxter group of dealerships here in Omaha. They had washed it, but it sat on the lot for a couple months and it hasn't sold. We'll try to make it a little shinier, make it easier to sell for them. But at the same time, the tire dressing that they use is not DIY Detail. We'll put it that way. It's a little on the greasy side.
Yep.
So the wheels are actually relatively clean, but the tires, we wanted to get some of that greasy tire dressing off. So that's why we did that, and to show you that all clean does foam.
So all clean cuts through grease better is what we're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna let this roll down a little bit. It's taking the dirt off, and then we'll rinse it off and go to our next foaming step.
Truth be told, Ivan, when it comes down to faster, less water, rinseless wash is gonna win every time.
Oh yeah.
But foam, what is it about the foam?
It's fun.
It's fun.
It looks cool. It's interesting.
Does it clean better though? I mean, I can see the foam, so it surely looks like it's cleaning more.
No.
Okay. I think, as an aside, when it comes to detailing, and we'll have a different opinion on this, but if you're a professional detailer, there's something, if you're a mobile guy or gal, there's something to putting on a show. I think there's something to the foam that may or may not be worth it as a mobile detailer. At least for the first application, you can do a hybrid foam rinse, then rinseless.
Yep.
I guess it just depends on how you're set up and what your presentation is to the customer, but I don't think anyone sees foam and thinks, ooh, there's no cleaning going on here.
No, exactly.
All right.
Now, speaking of foaming and the next step, I'm gonna add some rinseless wash into our wash bucket because we will be washing with the rinseless wash. I have 3.5 gallons, so 3.5 capfuls. And in the foam cannon, yes, you heard me right, the foam cannon, put in roughly about 2 ounces in there. It's not an efficient use of rinseless wash, but it is a fun use of rinseless wash.
So if you're foaming rinseless wash, which we don't always recommend, but you totally can.
Yeah.
2.5 ounces in a 16 ounce foam, or 32 ounce foam cannon?
Yeah.
So roughly 1 to 15?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Now, we'll rinse off the incredible suds, rinse off the wheels, and get ready for the next round of foam. One thing that's really fun about using a quality soap though, is the ease of rinsing off.
What do you mean a quality versus a non-quality for the beginners out there who may not understand?
There are some soaps that it seems like you're rinsing for days.
Yeah.
Whereas with incredible suds, it rinses off very quickly, very easily. leaves nothing on the surface, including the dirt that it took away. So it took away a lot of the dirt on the surface.
Great cleaning power. It's amazing how much grit gets removed in that first foaming and rinsing.
Yep.
If you want to test Ivan's theory, try Dawn dish soap in your foam cannon.
Yeah.
And try rinsing that off.
Yeah, not a fun experience. We did a video with Pan the organizer where it was actually palm olive, but same idea. And let's just say we used a lot of it in the foam cannon because it needed that much to be able to foam. But at the same time, I was like rinsing and rinsing and rinsing and rinsing. It just stayed there.
Ivan's not a big guy on waste, so he doesn't ever really foam our rinseless wash. Ivan, when's the last time you did this?
In a video about 3 years ago.
That's what I remember. It's like the old shop, the last time we foamed rinseless.
Obviously not incredible suds level foam here, but now we have rinseless all over the surface. It's actually a quick way of pre-spraying with the rinseless. If you want to do the calculation, so the PIR, the goal is to dilute it 250 to 1. That's the goal, to get it on the surface. More than that, you're just wasting product. And actually, I didn't use too much in the foam can. Foaming the rinseless on does have one advantage though. You get to smell it. It's got a nice fragrance to it.
It smells nice. You can visually see it. Often rinseless wash, when we spray it on with a keg sprayer or just a garden sprayer, you don't see it. It just looks like water. So it does add to the fun a little bit when you can see things. I think a lot of guys are visual. You know, we see it, and you know. So all right, you're going to use the Perfectly Safe brush. I think I'm going to use the Legacy sponge unless you want to wash the whole car.
Well, keep going, and I'll do all the top surfaces.
Perfect. What's the advantage of the Legacy sponge over the Perfectly Safe brush, or vice versa?
The brush is speed, whereas the sponge is precision.
That's a great way of putting it. If you haven't tried the Perfectly Safe brush, folks, it has made my washing at home on the Jeep so fast. And on mobile details where you've got just a lot of surface area to cover, right, Ivan?
Right, and obviously we've done a pre-foaming with the incredible suds, and we could have done it with the rinseless wash. That takes all the grit off the surface. Not having grit on the surface makes it so that the brush, you can go a little further with it, not have to worry about grit, not have to worry about scratching. It's not the brush that's going to cause scratching, it's grit on the surface. So the foam rinse foam or chemical rinse chemical method of working is always the safest, no matter what wash media you're using.
So then why does it matter what wash media you use if you just foam rinse foam or chemical rinse chemical?
You want something that's efficient, you want something that's great, that does the job. The other advantage that you have with the sponge is that it absorbs the liquid off the surface, making drying a little faster. But we're not about to dry this right now. We have a few other foaming steps to do.
So the Perfectly Safe brush even gets the grill. I mean, usually it's the wheel and body brush that I use on the front grill.
Yeah, it gets in to the grill nicely, all around the front end.
Ivan, when we do rinseless wash, I'm not doing as much squeegeeing, I can tell you that much. When we're doing a lot of foaming and rinsing and foaming, it's just the foaming, it's not the most efficient.
No.
But it is the most fun with the capital F.
Now, we want to decontaminate the vehicle, and to do so, we're going to be using iron remover. But we're going to be using it again in a very different way. Now, this is a non-diluting foam cannon. And truth be told, I've never tried this before, so we're experimenting right in front of you. But our good friend Cars with Keeve says that it works well, so we'll take his word for it. So iron remover in a foam cannon.
Ivan, I know the answer to this, but would you ever do this if it wasn't for a video?
Probably not.
But you could do this. I mean, we just ran through a little bit of iron remover. It's just not the most efficient use of product.
Well, actually, by the time we're done, we'll have used a little under 100 milliliters of iron remover.
So in terms of how much of the bottle that is, what, a quarter of the bottle?
Yeah, which is a lot less than what most people use when they're spraying and going crazy with it.
You could easily do half a bottle if you're just spraying willy-nilly.
Yeah, and it's better with the cap.
So normally when we use iron remover, it's one spray of iron remover on the paint, one on the towel where you put the iron remover, you place your towel, you use no pressure. You've got this beautifully designed perforated synthetic decontamination towel, the quad fold towel.
Yep.
What's the method of the madness here, Yvan?
We have more than enough rinseless wash and iron remover on the surface. So we're just using both of those combined as a clay loop. And this car needed decontamination by the sounds of it.
Well, you could feel it and hear it as you washed. I had the, more kind of close precision contact wash with the sponge, but I could hear it under the brush too, that it just had a crusty layer on here. How do you teach that? How do you teach I can hear it, I can feel it to someone who doesn't really know what they're doing yet?
Well, hearing and feeling are two senses that everyone pretty much has.
Yep.
So, and yes, we definitely can feel it and hear it here.
I'm flipping my side of the towel per panel. Does that sound about right?
Yep. And after 4 panels, dunk in the wash bucket.
And that, by dunking in the wash bucket, is that like a fresh start? What's happening there?
Yeah, so the flooding of the surface acts to remove all the dirt from the surface.
Do you totally like do you unfold the towel and like let it get a nice shower? Do you just leave it in 4s and dunk it? What's Yvan's method?
I leave it in 4s and dunk, but making sure that every surface gets flooded.
The perfectly safe brush, we put it on a handle.
Right.
Would you ever put a decontamination towel on a long handle?
No, because you can't feel the pressure you're applying at the end of the handle. And pressure is not your friend when it comes to a decontamination towel.
It's amazing how people don't really think they need to decontaminate their glass, and I can just feel it under the towel here on the glass.
So that door is pretty bad. I'm actually going to leave it for a few seconds, let the iron remover do a little more work. I'll do another section of the car and come back to that area.
New panel. Flip the fresh sides of my quad fold towel. Continue on.
Now we mentioned that the foaming of the rinseless wash gave us the beautiful fragrance of rinseless wash in the room. Unfortunately, foaming the iron remover also gives us the beautiful fragrance of the iron remover in the room.
More pungent than usual with iron remover.
Yeah.
What is iron remover and why do you use it, Yvan?
So it's actually a rust converter is what it's doing. So we're using it primarily as lubrication for the towel. And it does a great job at that. And at the same time, once the iron particle has been removed from the paint, now the iron remover just has to work on that little rust stain. On a dark colored car, you don't see the rust stains, but they're there.
Don't forget to decontaminate your plastics too. I think people may think, oh, it's plastic trim. I don't need to decontaminate that.
The towel goes everywhere.
As I look at this paint, Yvan, it's starting to bead up a little bit. Before there wasn't water behavior, we've decontaminated. Why am I seeing more tight water beads now than before?
Because we've cleaned the surface. A clean surface, fresh paint, beads water.
Why did it bead?
Because that's the Lotus effect. It does that because of how paint is designed. It's not designed, but how paint is, it just naturally beads water. Paint out of a paint booth is the most beading you'll ever see, more than any coating.
Yeah, what is paint? I imagine maybe like a lot of fingers, a sponge. Like, why would it bead versus be flat? I guess I'm getting a little technical.
Well, because it
here.
looks like a sponge, and when you have little spikes like that, all those little spikes hold the water on the surface. Look up the Lotus effect, you'll know what it is.
Got it.
Now, speaking of beading, in the foam cannon, I have 500 milliliters of water, or 16 ounces, and 2 ounces and or 60 milliliters of quick beads. We're not gonna get the biggest foam show ever. Again, it's an efficient and fast way of spreading the quick beads, but we'll need to rinse immediately after. If you're working in direct sunlight, this may not be the best option. Typically on a car, we'll go through about 1 ounce of quick beads. We've gone through a little more than 1 ounce here, so not too much more product usage, but a great, fast, efficient way of putting it on there.
What if someone wanted to just foam it straight in the foam cannon? Is that just way too much product?
Way too much product and you'll get streaking afterwards.
Okay, so
too much product is never a good thing. And finally, the last rinse before we start drying. So quick beads, no matter how you're applying it to the surface, you want to spray up, not rinse down. Now you'll notice I didn't do the roof, I didn't do the bumper, I didn't do the hood. The reason for that is, again, I don't want to be rinsing down that side. So I did this side first, I'll go do the other side, then do the roof and these areas, bring them over this way. Then from here, I'm gonna go from the bottom up to the windshield. Then on the roof, I'm gonna move it from back to front, going down the windshield, because a little more quick beads on the windshield never hurt. So I've spread it using the pressure washer, then I rinse it down.
I noticed you just did one movement on the roof. Is that a big deal? You didn't spread it and then rinse it. You just kind of moved it one way?
Right, because I'm not done yet.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, across the back. Then I'll give it one last rinse down. At this point, you might be tempted to look at all these beads and go, I'll just use my leaf blower to blow this off. No, you actually want the action of the towel that helps finalize the setting of the quick beads and will reduce the possibility of streaking. Nick, have a drying blanket.
Quick beads is not just fun. I know that was the theme of this video.
Right.
It actually does a phenomenal job at restoring beading and making your towel dry so smooth.
Yeah.
That's the one thing is I didn't used to use quick beads. I was like, well, you know, I deal with a lot of direct sunlight, but I've just really been enjoying it, especially if I wash at night and I'm not worried about sunlight. You know, wash it in the morning, in the evening. They're just ideal times to watch if you're concerned about sun, right, Ivan?
Exactly.
In a controlled environment, it's no big deal. It's our chemicals' fault. It's just the sun is the sun.
Yep.
It's very powerful. Things dry quickly. Things get weird. Any advice on sunlight detailing?
Do it the least amount possible.
What's your drying technique with your towel, Ivan?
Go over the whole surface.
Well, the side panels. I wonder what you're doing over there.
Oh, I like to anchor the towel and then with one hand and dry with the other. That way the towel can't reach the ground even if I let go of it with the drying hand. Same thing with the wheels and tires, especially these tires because of the tire dressing the dealership has used. We want to avoid contact with these tires at all costs. So as a recap, we have foamed incredible suds, all clean, rinseless wash, iron remover, and quick beads. Do you need to do this at every wash? Of course not. Is it fun? Yes, it was.
And did it work? As in, is the car washed, decontaminated, and shiny?
Yes, it is. Notice the streak coming down from the mirror.
So we've got the world famous drip catcher towel here with the two magnets, very plush.
Yeah.
Ivan, if folks want to take the shine to another level, what's the next option in detailing?
Here's a very easy and inexpensive way to polish your car.
That video right here.